some myths really need to be busted, that, shortness of breath under no circumstances is normal. And, whether you're growing older, whether, whatever the circumstance in life, you should never ignore shortness of breath and just assume that it's part of the aging process. Should be worked up, should be investigated. So that's one common thing. Second thing is chronic production of sputum. So if you wake up with phlegm every single morning, people like to trivialize it by using words like smoker's cough, or, used to be a smoker, therefore I have a cough. It's not normal. I mean, if it's a smoker's cough, also it's pathological. There is a problem because of which your lungs are irritated and are making you produce mucus on a chronic basis. So that's the second thing. So shortness of breath, if you're producing sputum on a chronic basis, on a long-term basis, clearly there is a problem that needs to be looked at. The third common symptom is a wheeze. So if you hear a whistling sound from your chest, that's clearly a problem. So, when we breathe normally, there should be zero sound, right? So a lot of people, when they breathe out, especially, will notice a small little whistle at the end of that breath, which we call a wheeze technically, and that's not to be ignored if you wheeze on a chronic basis. The other subtler symptoms are if your legs swell up, for example, as the disease progresses, sometimes swelling of the legs could be a symptom. It could also be a cardiac symptom, but again, it's something that you don't take lightly if it's a chronic problem. If you wake up at night short of breath at any point of time, that's a red flag that should never be ignored. I think these are pretty much the broad symptoms that one needs to watch out. The other thing is, if you keep having frequent coughs and colds, what Dr. Vishweshwaran alluded to earlier, these exacerbations, so every time the weather changes, every time the pollution levels increase a bit, you immediately tend to have a cough that's out of proportion to everybody else around you. So everybody's exposed to the same circumstance, but if one person consistently reacts a lot more strongly than the others, you need to start wondering if there is something chronic going on in the background, which is then getting triggered by things which are in the environment. So I think broadly, these are the things that one needs to watch out and take seriously if they're happening consistently and on a regular basis.
So the red flags, like you said, is one is that if you get up at night breathless, and then the bloating in your legs, the swelling. And
right. So those tend to happen in a more advanced stage generally. Right, but in terms of overall symptoms, shortness of breath, production of mucus on a chronic basis, wheezing, these tend to be common symptoms that a person with COPD will experience.